Second person is now known to have died amid days of mass protests in France. The anger was caused by rising fuel prices, spurred by President Macron's carbon tax hikes. Demonstrators set toll booths on fire on a highway in the southeast on Tuesday night. Elsewhere, refineries, key roads, all blocked, causing major disruption. Over 250,000 people joined the so-called Yellow Vest protest, named after the high visibility jackets which motorists have to carry in their vehicles. Well, the demonstrations have now spread nationwide. Over 500 people have been injured, including dozens of police officers. Our France correspondent Charlotte Dubinsky takes a closer look at what the protesters are doing.
I'm here just on the outskirts of Rouen, where, as you can see behind me, there are a group of around 100 yellow vest wearers. These are the Gilets jaunes. They've come out to protest against the high tax on carburants, on fuels here in France, which have increased by more than 20% in the last year. If you just take a look, you'll see that there's another group over here. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to blockade roads and roundabouts like this. This is one of the main arteries that would go from Rouen all the way to Paris, and as you can see, they've brought some of the traffic to a relative crawl. Some people have described it as Operation Escargot. The idea is bringing the traffic to a standstill or a crawl, but not actually completely blocking the roads. One of the reasons that they've changed their tack on that, when these protests started back on Saturday 4 days ago, they were actually trying to block the roads, but that's caused them problems with the police. So the idea here now is to bring the traffic to a snail crawl and to protest against not just the high price of fuel here in France, but also the high cost of living in France. Let's have a look back now at the protests over the last 4 days. They're burning fires to keep themselves warm here. You might be able to see there's a fire just in the background there. And if we walk around this roundabout, you're going to see that there's another point here. This is also where they're trying to stop the traffic. And then again, further in the distance, they really have got this entirely covered. And what they're saying is that President Macron has said lots of things. He said he's going to come into power. He's going to make reforms. He's going to change the French economy for the better. But the people here say there is no magic formula, and so far Macron hasn't brought in a magic formula. Let's have a listen to what the protesters themselves are saying.
We don't want this president and this government to be useful anymore. We don't want them anymore, and we want to change the system.
The
state responds with new laws every year, every month. Laws that are worthless. We have to say stop. We are not dumb sheep. We have no choice.
That's right. I spent the night here to show that we're all in this together and that we're going to make it to the end. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. We are going to make it. We won't let go. I'm here all night again.
The protesters here say that they are going to stay. This is now the 4th day of the protests, and they have set up some sort of camp here. They're giving out food and hot drinks, and they're saying they're determined that they want dialogue with the government. Now, President Macron has said that he is prepared for dialogue, but he hasn't said with whom. And we've also heard from the Interior Minister, Christophe Castaner, today, who said that he believes that the demands of the protesters are incoherent. These protests, though, continuing across France, 4th day now. And we also know that there is due to be a very big, or at least that's how it appears, a big protest on Saturday, where the Yellow Vests will continue to call for a reduction in the price of fuel and a reduction in the price of living here in France.
And here's what's happening in France's capital city. Around 100 nurses gathered outside the health ministry on Tuesday to protest the government's planned healthcare reforms. They say their roles are being sidelined and want the importance of their work to be recognised. They're particularly unhappy that €200 million is being spent on the creation of 4,000 new medical assistant positions. Nurses say that that money would be better spent elsewhere. Also protests in other French cities throughout the last number of days. Marseille, Rennes, Lyon among them.